Hello everyone, I'm Kit Sheffield, Sheffield Wines. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about who we are. We're a very small importer just starting. We only have a few people on board right now. It's me, my mother started it, the founders, and my wife. She's another co-founder, and her father is the owner and founder of the vineyard, which we are initially representing. So Kotenar Wines is in a unique area of the world. It's actually in Ukraine. So currently we are the only label approved for sale in the US that is from Ukraine. Whether that is something that we need to expand upon, I don't know. We aren't thinking that people are looking for Ukraine wine. However, what we do have is we have the ability to produce a very good fruit in a very good region of the world at a very good price. So, how did we get into this? I've done a lot of traveling. I've started many businesses with my mother, and we are labeled as serial entrepreneurs. So, on a lot of the travels that I've done through Europe, and Central Europe especially, I've found that you sit down for lunch in a nice restaurant or even just a casual diner outside, and someone brings you a pitcher of wine and just sets it down in front of you, and it tastes fantastic. You don't know why, you don't know what it's labeled, what it's branded, and that's something that just doesn't really happen in the US, that you have decent wine that's just very drinkable. And so we've started looking for that type of idea. And what I found, by chance of course, is that my wife happened to be in a family that makes wines very similar to this. So Karpat Winery is in Ukraine. They built the winery with the intention of expanding, and their primary exporter was intended to be Russia. Well, there is no trade between Ukraine and Russia, so the winery has a tremendous capacity. They're operating about 10% capacity right now, bottling it and selling it on the shelves of Ukraine for their cost. So they're looking for a lot of expansion. They have some export into and throughout Central Europe, and then I, of course, wanted to open up the US market to them. So it's a low price point wine. We're looking at about $5 a bottle on the shelf, and there's enough room in there for everyone. So what differentiates us from a lot of other wines in this price category is that we are not bulk wine. The grapes are grown on Karpat vineyards. They're crushed in their facilities. They're bottled in their facilities, labeled, and sold to us, and then to you. We are looking to stay an importer. We're looking for distributors, wholesalers. We are open to doing sponsorships. We're looking for marketing ideas. We have some connections in various areas that we were thinking that we might want to expand upon, and one of those is tennis. And the tennis market, of course, also is the good wine market as well. My wife is a professional tennis player, and my brother-in-law is a professional tennis player, so we actually have several ins in that area. So we're looking to sponsor VIP tents into areas of tennis tournaments. We also have some potential high-profile spokespersons that we're exploring. So there's a lot of opportunity for this. We are also looking for somebody that might be interested in private label. We're open to putting somebody else's label on our wine. This isn't, like I said, bulk wine, so it's going to give you a good price point, it's going to have consistent flavor, and it's our fruit. What else we're looking to do, we're expanding also into Hungary. So I'll give you a little bit of background. My father-in-law and my wife actually are from Hungary. He is Russian, was a judge in Siberia, and now he is a winemaker in Ukraine, but living in Budapest, Hungary. So once you get into the Central Europe, things blend all together. And when these countries became, not Ukraine, but when these countries became part of the EU started controlling the wine market and really wanted to emphasize Germany and France and Spain and kind of prohibit a lot of the smaller countries from exporting their wines. Well, a lot of these family-owned wineries still are producing wine, and they're producing on a good quantity. They just don't really have anyone buying it. So we've also started looking into those smaller wineries in Hungary and Bulgaria, and we're really optimistic about the foreseeable future with this. The reason why we say Hungary is A, because that's where my wife is from, and B, that's where our winemaker is from. So the winemaker of Karpat actually is a Hungarian, and he has won several awards throughout Hungary, and he has expanded and made his own winery. So he's very much like family to us, and his name is Vinci Bella, and he has about 10 labels of his own. So we've identified 4 that we're looking to bring. Those are pending approval. So as far as the current state of our wines, we have 3 wines approved. The Tremenere, which you guys are tasting the white, and the Merlot, and we have a Cabernet as well. So those are all approved and ready to sell right now. We can sell them by the container or the pallet. And we also have a very nice rosé, a semi-dry rosé, and a Cabernet or a Chardonnay that's also being approved right now. So we're looking at 20 days for those. Next step will be the Hungarian wine. Vinci Bella's wines are a little bit of a step up. We're not at the $5 price point anymore. These 5 that I just mentioned are all at the $5 price point or below. The next step will be the Hungarian wines, which are the same value wine. However, the price point is a little bit higher. They are a higher quality wine. All reds. We have a very nice cuvee. We have a bull's blood, which when you hear Hungarian wine, you need to have that. And then we have a Syrah that's fantastic, and that's at the upper end, and we're probably looking at about $40 to $50 a bottle for that on the shelf. So we have a good range of product. Initially, we're looking at the sub $5 market, and then we're filling the gap in between. And that's our initial focus. And for now, I'd like to open it up to any questions that you all might have. And I'm hopefully, before I do, we do not have a table here at the show. However, we will be walking around, and we have our bottles with us, some of the wines that's not been approved yet, but you might want to taste. And we don't have time to taste today, but we were happy to sit down with you at a table and let you try it. So if anyone has any questions. Yes, sir.
By delivery only, you mean these wines are available DI only? You're not stocking in the U.S.?
That's correct.
Reason for that?
Well, we don't have any warehouses right now. I'm not saying we're not open to it, but we are very new. These labels were approved last month. And so the wine is stocked, it's bottled, it's ready to sell, but you're going to look at the amount of time that it takes to get a container from Ukraine to the U.S. as your lead time. Any other questions? Well, okay. I'm Kit Sheffield again. My mom is Marsha Wolf. We'll be walking around, and we're open to any suggestions or feedback that you might have. Thank you.